like this. I 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 like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another podcast, another episode of the Victim No More podcast. Of course, my name is Bobby Patterson, aka Bobby P. And of course, you know that this next interview is going to be off the charts, amazing, incredible. I had an opportunity to meet this individual for the very first time, ironically, when I was in Houston for the transformation contest there. And just going through that experience, I remember distinctly walking through the lobby later on that evening, and I ran into an incredible individual. And at first, you know how you see people in TLC and you see them online and you admire them, and then when you meet them, that there's like those first 3 seconds you got to make that adjustment. And I remember saying, oh wow, I know who that is. And so I went through that whole process, and from that particular point, we actually got to meet again in Orlando, and she shared an incredible story because she herself is a transformation contest winner. And so we were able to actually, you know, really share some thoughts going through the same experience. But her story is absolutely amazing. And before I officially bring her on, I just want to, of course, introduce her in my own way with a special video package.
Sunday came, I told my sister, Jody, big up yourself. Sunday came and they showed up at my house. I see Mr. Luna walking and Thomas Rosales walking, and these two guys walking in Louis Vuitton shoes and Louis Vuitton bag, diamond ring. I said, what is this? What is this? So, but during all of this, while all this is going on, I'm in so much pain from my back, my ankles, my knee. My entire body was hurting. So I sat down with them, and they were telling me about the business. And I literally zoned out at one point. Yes, I did. I zoned out at one point. I sort of tuned them out. And then Mr. Luna said something to mention to me about pain. And then my sister pinched me. She said, you have pain? I said, yeah. So he handed me a brand new bottle of emu oil. And I said, what is this? He said, do you have pain? I said, yeah. He said, put it on the affected area. I said, all right, no problem. Opened it, rubbed it on my back, put it on my knee, put it on my ankle. And we sat there talking for a little bit. And then I got up to get them some Pellegrino. When I got up, I said, wait a minute. And then my sister said, you okay? You're not in pain? I said, no. I sat down, I got up, I said, oh my God, this thing works. And I sat back down and said, what is in this? What is this? So they explained to me what it is, and he gave me the catalog and the information about the emu oil was in it. And I said, this is pure emu oil. And I said, Jody, look up what is emu. I had to know what it was. And I completely forgot about any business or whatever it was. I said, you know what? Sign me up. It doesn't matter. Just sign me up because I got to get more of this oil.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce the some and present the others. The amazing, the incredible Miss Marsha Anderson. Welcome to the Victim No More podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Oh my God, look at those pictures. I was just moved to tears.
Yeah, because sometimes going down memory lane, it brings back those moments. It brings back those feelings because you knew and you know where you were at that particular time. And I'll never forget this. Orlando was an amazing event. And we had talked previously before Orlando about you coming on the show. But life happened, and maybe perhaps you'll go into that as we go along in this interview. And I said, well, in this appropriate time and in this appropriate season, I know you're gonna be here. And we had an opportunity to really just sit down and talk in Orlando. And you shared your story with me, and I was like, no, this got to be told. The encouragement that I got, and just watching you and just observing, not only you telling the story, but how you told the story with passion and with power. I was like, this has to be told in 2021. I understand now. What year were you the transformation contest winner? What event was that?
This was Michigan, Detroit, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
That we're in what, 2021, 2019.
2019. Okay. So that was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Well, we need that story today still. Of course, as I start every interview, is typically, well, who was Marsha before TLC, of course. But I really want you to go back because it lays a foundation as to who you became as a young woman and into your early adult years. Who was Marsha as a child? What was something that happened during that time that kind of set the pace and the foundation growing into adulthood?
Wow, who was Marsha? That's a good question. That's a very good question because I never understood who Marsha was until Marsha turned 40. Being
Mm.
honest with you with that one. Um, growing up, I grew up in Jamaica, and one thing I can say, you know, I always had my mom, my dad, and then they introduced my grandmother. And ever since they introduced my grandmother in my life, she was, I was like a nurturer to her. So everywhere you
Okay.
see my grandma, you see me.
Okay.
So every picture, right now, if you look on family albums, everywhere you see a picture with my grandmother, you see me.
There you
I'm
were.
like peeping in the back. I'm always in the background, like always. And then when they introduce her sisters, I'm like, hi, I'm always there. So I've always wanted, I'm a middle child. So I have an older brother, I have an older sister, and I have a baby sister. I'm a middle child.
Okay.
So I've always wanted to be seen. And because of that, of course, as a middle child, little chihuahuas, they yap all the time. They're always making a bunch of noise because they gotta be seen. That was me. I'm like, hi, I'm here. Nobody seeing me. Okay, let me do something. So that was me. So I'm always getting into trouble.
Mm.
So because of that, my dad, I always got disciplined. Always. Even if I didn't do anything, I always got disciplined. So I was always in the wrong. So growing up, I looked to my parents for acceptance. I looked to them you know, for praises. I always did. And I remember, moving to America, one of the things I told my dad at 16, daddy said to me, he said, what you want to be when you grow up? I said, I'm going to travel the world. He said,
Mm.
how about you travel now? I said, okay. I went to the room, I started packing my things. I'm like, I'm out. I don't know where I'm going. I was packing my stuff. I'm like, I'm leaving. So my mom got upset. She, got into a big thing. So ever since I was 16, 15, 16, that was adolescent tough years. That's why I'm so worried now. Those are adolescent tough years. It's scary
Mm-hmm.
because at that time you're trying to find yourself, you're trying to fit in. And, in elementary school, in Jamaica, we call it primary school, I was bullied. I was bullied. My daughter, she's 12, but she's always petite.
Okay.
And that was me. I was always little petite one.
Okay.
And I remember my dad came home one day and he's like, nobody not eating the food. You guys need to eat. So I'm like, okay, I'll eat. So I started eating. I would make sure there's no leftovers because he said eat. So that's where it all started from. And in elementary school, they bullied me. They used to call me Piggy. And it just kept getting to that point where, I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. It is what it is. And I used to wear glasses. I still wear glasses, but I wear nice, cute ones now. But I wear,
Say
I
we
wear
can be
my
cute with it
glasses.
now.
I wear my glasses. But my mom, she always got the cheapest frame. And because she got the cheapest frames, they always got the thickest lenses. So I always look weird.
Now, Marsha,
And
hold on. Don't feel like you by yourself because I went through the same exact thing when I was a child. I was like, did we have to find the biggest lenses, and then the thickest ones, and then the absolute worst frames? I was like, oh my God, I could not only see what was coming right in front of me, but the glasses were so big I could see the future. It was
yeah,
that bad.
then the crazy thing is, you hit sixth grade. I carried the same school bag for 2 years. Two
Hmm.
years I carried the same school bag because my parents said, this is good. You're good. You don't need another one. It's leather. And I think I have one looking like it right now, sitting right over there.
Wow.
Yes. And it's like you go to school, everybody have John Sport and they have the LA Gear
Uh-huh.
and you're like, geez. So my thing is I would curl up in the corner. And as a daughter of a teacher, it's like it's hard for you to go to your mom and say, the kids are saying this about me.
Mm-hmm.
And her best friend, who I consider my godmother, may God rest her soul, I would go to her and I would talk to her. So anything I wanted to say to my mom, I would go to her and talk to her. And
Mm-hmm.
then she would give me advice on how to approach things. And that's how it always has been. Until I graduated, I went to high school, and then it continued. It's like I tried to fit in. And by fitting in, you're fitting in the worst company. And when you fit in the worst company, you get in so much trouble. So, it was a struggle for me. And I never got an opportunity to tell my mom that I was bullied until 2 years ago.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
How did she receive that?
She said, "Really?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Why didn't you tell me?" I said, "Well, why? What should I tell you? How should I tell you? When everything I told you was like, you did deal with it, whatever, because as Jamaican parents, we're tough.
Right.
We're tough. So, you're going through things at school, deal with it. Isn't, I have other things to deal with. How do you as a parent growing up in a third world country handle bullying from your kids? Your kids getting bullied at school. How do you handle that? You don't know how to handle it.
Right.
Because who knows, the kids that you're getting bullied from, maybe their parents is a gunman or something, want to get shot. And you're a teacher, so you don't want problems. So, how would you handle that
Right.
as a peer? It is different from being here in the US. The US is a whole different ballgame. My daughter come and say she being bullied at school, I'm stepping in. I'm gonna be in the school, like, talk to me. You need to call the parents in because we're gonna handle
Right.
this. That's me. In Jamaica, I'm not doing that. I'm like, okay, all right, sweetie. Let's see how we could take care of this on a rational basis. Let's try and talk to the parents. Maybe you gotta figure things out.
Right.
So that's how it was. So being bullied, puts a dent on in your mind, as on your mindset. So you're trying to fit in. That's the first thing. Then by trying to fit in, you're fitting in the wrong group. You're getting into trouble and you're thinking that, okay, then, all right, then this too shall pass. And that's how it was for me. And then, you're going through stuff at home. You're feeling like, mommy and daddy not paying you as much attention as the baby sister or the older sister, a big sister getting all the attention. And, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you don't know what to do. You're caught in the middle.
But you feel like you're by yourself.
Yeah, that's how I felt. But my parents never knew that. They never understood that. Because, they're tough. They
Mm-hmm.
handle things different. And that followed me right up until adulthood. When I started gaining weight, my one of the reasons why I gained so much weight was the first thing is because daddy said you need to eat. I start eating. Then you look at me and say, "Oh, you 2 years from now you can't fit through my front door because you're eating so much." Really? What do you want? So that's the disposition. Then even after all of that happening, is like, my father now had a whole concept about boys. We shouldn't get involved with boys.
Mm-hmm.
We shouldn't have boys as friends. So I used to always have boys as friends because I felt comfortable around them. I never felt comfortable around girls because girls always bully me. Even to this day, I have a lot of male friends. If you check my phone, it's all guys, all different races, guys. Because for some reason, I get the feeling that women, they feel jealous. I don't know what it is, but I have a connection with men. So one day I remember I was on the phone talking to this guy and he's like, "Oh, you need to come and meet me." I'm like, "All right, sure." And he's like, "Yeah, you need to come here and you're going to give me some of that." I'm like, "All right, cool." Because I'm not going anywhere. I know I'm not allowed to leave the house. Anyway, my father overheard that conversation, and that was the end of that. So because
Mm.
he heard that, you know what he did? He said, you know what? Since you want man, you're going to learn to cook. And that's where me starting to cook came in.
Wow. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
he's like, what? You want man? You're going to learn to cook. I'm like, okay, all right. So I started cooking. He put me in the kitchen. I had to clean 40 pounds of fish.
Oh
I
my
was,
God.
oh my God, it was torture. I thought it was torture. At 16, it's torture. But anyway, by doing all of that, I developed a passion for cooking.
Okay.
And
Okay.
from that, my father, after graduating from high school, daddy said, so we're gonna go for college. I said, I'm gonna go to Runaway Bay Heart Academy. He said, vocational school? I said, yes. He's like, why? I said, if I go to the University of the West Indies, they're not gonna give me what I want. I'm just gonna have a certificate and then that's it. If I go to, institutes, the other institute, IT, what they're gonna do? I'm just gonna be sitting around with a certification. I'm not gonna have a job. Versus if I go to a vocational school, I learn hands-on training, get hands-on training, and they place me in a job as soon as I leave school. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay.
So after going to school, everything, I started working at the #1 business hotel in Kingston. And I started a lunch buffet and everything. And from there, I decided that, you know what, Jamaica too small for me. I gotta make a move. So an opportunity came up where they call it a farm work program. I got on that and I told my parents that I'm leaving. They didn't believe as usual because everything I tell them they don't believe. So I said, okay, fine. I ended up leaving. I gave my mom a resignation letter and that was it.
Oh
And
my
I went to
goodness.
Charleston.
A resignation letter.
Yeah, yeah, for her to hand no for her to
Okay.
hand it to the job. Yeah. So I went to Charleston, South Carolina. I was there for 1 year. I found my niche there. I love working there. I went back to Jamaica after a year and I'm like, I'm not staying here. And in
Mm.
2004, I came back to the States. And when I came back, I met someone and that didn't work out. I went back to Jamaica and then I came back again and then I met someone again. So basically, my whole thing with being back and forth in relationships, I was trying to find that niche. I was
Right.
trying to find that, that comfort, that approval, and I was also looking for the approval from my father and my mother, which was not working. So
Right.
everything I did, I was looking for an approval from my dad. All my
And
life, I've been
and
doing that.
and that is very, very important. And I hope that people are paying attention to what you're saying, because the way that it naturally supposed to work is that mothers train the daughters, but and mothers train the daughters, and then the fathers train the sons. But it's the complete opposite. The fathers are the actual first adorers of their daughters. We are the
Yeah,
ones who actually give that first affirmation. We're the ones, we should be the ones that literally tell our little girls that they're beautiful
yes,
before anybody else outside that house. The first man that they should hear that they're beautiful, that they're more than enough, that they're amazing is from their fathers. That is so, so important. And
yes.
that's actually literally playing a role in the story that you're telling. So that just go ahead. But I wanted to make sure that we stop there so we can get an understanding as to what happens next.
Right. So with all of that happening now, it's like, I got in a relationship with someone that didn't work out. In that relationship, I ended up buying a house with the person and I ended up leaving because that person put a gun to my head while I was sleeping. I woke up seeing that, all
Wow.
of that. I'm like, this is crazy. And I had to slowly plan my transition out of that relationship without them even realizing what was gonna happen. And
My
then from
goodness.
that, the same person that I had gotten into a relationship before who helped me out, I ended up going back to that person to help me out with housing until I got myself my own place. So that person helped me out with that place. I got my place and I was in Brooklyn. Then I met my daughter's father.
Okay.
And after meeting my daughter's father, we dated for a while. This is like 6 months. It was beautiful. It was great in the beginning. And then when I told him I was pregnant, he's like, um, I, I don't know. That was his reaction. So I say, you know
Wow.
what? That's on you. I'm gonna go forward with my decision. I'm keeping my child because I was told I couldn't have kids before. So I'm keeping my baby. And then
So
he
you were
said,
already
oh yeah,
you were told medically that you could not have children?
yes, because I had an ovarian cyst. I had an ovarian cyst the size of orange. So they said I would have to either have it surgically removed or take medication in
Mm,
order to get pregnant.
wow.
So when I got pregnant, I was like, what? Okay, all right, cool. I guess I'm
Okay.
pregnant. All right. And then when I told my dad, he sent me a long-winded email that I cannot even repeat what he said in the email because it hurt my feelings to the core.
Mm,
It hurt my feelings so much that I decided not to be in contact with him. And when I'd spoken to my mother, she kind of sort of sided with him. So therefore, I kept my conversations with her limited.
right.
And when I ended up losing my apartment because the company I was working for, they told me that they can't keep me there because I'm a liability because I didn't have papers.
Okay.
I ended up losing my job and I ended up packing up my stuff and going back into the house where I was staying with my ex for him to help me again. Now, by being in this house, by this time I was like 3 months pregnant. He decided that he owns me and he had authority. So he decided to take advantage while I was in my room at the time, just relaxing, watching TV. And by this, you know, being violated at 3 months pregnant is not something that any woman would even think or fathom the thought of that happening to them. And worse, with somebody that they trust. So with that happening now, after he was done, he had his friends over, they drank and they smoked and they hang out like nothing happened. I called a friend who was in the military at the time, and he set up camp outside the house. And he texted me and said, get all the important documents together and then make your way outside when the coast is clear. So, okay. I did just that and went to the special victims unit and they drove me back to the house where they arrested him. So from all of that happening, this guy did time. And out of all of everything that happened, I can safely say my daughter is a blessing because the whole time I was there, I was worried that, okay, they're going to deport me. All these things were going through my mind. And when my very good friend and best friend found out what was happening, she called me. Her and her husband called me and they said, come and stay with us. And I stayed with them right up until I gave birth, before and after I gave birth. But while I was at the house, she caught me when I was about to take my life because I felt like I was the problem. I felt like I was at fault. I felt like I was a burden to society, and I didn't deserve to be a mother. All of those things I was thinking.
Before you go any further, first of all, that was absolutely horrible what had happened. And I'm glad that he was held accountable for that. However, though, it still does not account for the hurt and the burden that you had to carry after that. So for you to come here today and stand in your power and share that, all while you literally was pregnant with a miracle child, and you're here today sharing your story in power, and we haven't even finished the rest of it, because there's joy at the end of it. But this right here, this had to be told, and I appreciate you just being bold enough and courageous enough to share this. And of course, we've had plenty of conversations, and I want to publicly tell you, you weigh more than enough. You have nothing, nothing to prove. You absolutely, you're amazing, just the way that you are, who you are right now. And to know that greater is coming, because you decided to come on here today to share something very personal. But there's somebody that, if they're either listening right now or going to hear it on the replay, you're going to give them hope. And the Most High cannot allow that to pass without blessing you. So just know you're doing a work here today. This is not entertainment. This is real. This is the story behind the story, if you will. So I just want to let you know that I know that I appreciate it. The audience appreciates it even more. And the ones that you're literally ministering to right now, oh, they really appreciate it. So just know you are way more than enough, and you are literally walking in your purpose right now.
Thank you. So, all right. So, even after all of that was said and done, you know, I had disconnected from my parents. I had this complete disconnected from my parents because I didn't want them to get in trouble. I didn't want them to be threatened, but they
Okay.
eventually were threatened. They eventually were threatened, and the authorities had to intervene to stop that. Moving forward, I give birth to my beautiful baby girl Anya, and I couldn't see my life without her. But before I gave birth, I was asking my same friend if her and her husband would adopt. And
Hmm.
she looked at me and she said, "This is something that you have to really think about, because you're like family to us. And if you're going to have access to adopt your child, if you come to the house, and when you come to the house, you cannot act like you know her. You can't act like her mom, because you are signing her over. You're disconnecting. That's what you're doing." She's like, "Are you ready to do that? Are you willing to do that? After carrying a child for 9 months, going through what you're going through now." She's like, "Think about it," because she said, "I don't think I can do something like that to you, Marsha. I don't think I can do that. But I know that we can give her, yeah, beautiful house, all of this, but we cannot give her what you can give her."
Hmm.
So after sleeping on it, thinking about it, I say, I can't do it. Let me struggle with my child. Let me struggle. And boy, I tell you, I did struggle. When I say I struggle, I mean I struggle. It got to a point my mom used to send money from Jamaica to help me pay my rent. That's how bad it was. From a shelter to renting a room right there in New York. Yes, Marsha Anderson, shelter, renting a room. My mom was the one that stepped up and helped me out. Then when my dad realized that my mom doing so much, he's like, okay, let me send some. My father was a hard cookie. He was tough. He was tough. But there's a reason why he's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Because he came from nothing and he built himself. That's why he was tough. So even after all of that, I got myself in. My mom paid for nursing school for me. I went to nursing school
Okay.
12 years ago. Graduated as a CNA, everything. And when my first job was at the Veterans Hospital, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I said, I don't have the guts for this. I can't do this. And I said, I can't find a job. So I got a job working as a research and development chef. And
Okay.
working as a chef, working as a chef, I loved it. I loved it, creating formulas, everything. And then by doing that now, you start associating yourself with certain class of people. So
Okay.
of course, it's class. So with that class comes other stuff.
Okay.
So of course, I'm moving from a room now. I'm renting my own apartment. I moved from Queens. I moved to Long Island, and I'm on Long Island, and I'm mixing with the right crew. And then I get my car. I'm stepping up. I feel good. I'm moving up in life. And then by moving up, my neighbors help me with my daughter. It's a beautiful neighborhood. And then I get introduced to cocaine from this guy I was dating. I said, that's one thing I never tried. He's like, yeah, sure, then let's go try it. But one thing I always told myself, whenever I'm around him, I have to be numb. So I drink till I'm numb. And the alcohol wasn't enough. And that's when it started moving from that. So I was working Monday to Friday. I had it good. I had all the weekend to relax. It was great. Ask me about my child. Where was she? She was at the babysitter. And that is how I was. And then when I moved to Long Island, half the time I was asleep in the daytime because I was hungover for coke or alcohol. And it continued like that, where I look forward to every single weekend to a bottle or two of Jack Daniels and vodka. And that was my thing. And then when I get my tax return, I go to the liquor store, go to the wine distributor and get a whole case of wine, and I stock up on my liquor. And that's how it was.
Wow. So you basically was trying to drown out the pain, trying to deal with life. How was your health? How was your health at this particular time?
Oh boy, it was blowing up slowly. Blowing up slowly. Every day I get up and I satisfy myself by working out. But nothing was happening. I wasn't losing weight. Nothing was happening. I was just working out. Yeah, great. Woo, I did time. Yeah, great. It wasn't working.
So you was an in-shape alcoholic.
Right. Yeah.
I understand the foolishness because I've been there. We rationalized that.
Yeah. It was great. It was great. My girlfriend, she introduced me to a company where Landmark in the city. I went and she's like, oh, you need help. I said, all right, cool. She's like, I did it too. I said, all right. I went there and, that was the first time I actually told my father how I really felt and my mom. And I told him, I said, Daddy, all my life I've been living, trying to get, great praise from you. And gets, you don't recognize anything that I do. He said, you're going about it all wrong. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you're going about it all wrong. You shouldn't try to get approval from me. He said, it's your life you're living. You're not living life from me. No. He said, listen, everything that I do it because I care. He never used the word love. Never.
Wow.
Never. I care. That's how he says he loves. He cares.
Okay.
And when I spoke to my mom, she's like, I love you. And that's the first time in my life I ever heard that. So I told myself
Wow.
as an adult, ever since I was growing, I said, if and when I have a child, I will always tell that child that I love them. And after that phone call, that was the first time in my life I started telling my parents I love them. Because it has to start from somewhere. And that's what I told myself. So that was the first step.
Right.
But even though it was the first step to me trying to overcome a situation, I was still going down a downward spiral.
Right.
I still went back to Long Island and I still pick up my bottle of Jack and I was happy. And when the last call for me, you know, when you go to the bar, it's the last call for alcohol. The last call for me was the Saturday night when my daughter and I picked a movie and we were watching and I fell asleep. She not knowing how high I was. I was so high to the point where I was drunk. Then I fell asleep.
Mm.
And the next morning, Sunday morning, she came into the bed with me and she said, Mommy, you fell asleep again.
Again.
Again. And that was the last one. She said, I helped you into bed. And that's when I say, you know what? I need to make a change. I need to stop what I'm doing because I'm not thinking how much she's seeing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not thinking how much it's affecting her when it is. And with me doing all of what I'm doing, you know, trying to find love, going on dating sites, doing all this extra stuff, I'm not thinking how much it's affecting her. But it was affecting her. Because you know what? She's 12 now and I'm trying to adjust that. I'm trying to fix it. Because us as a single mom, yes, we need someone. I'm not gonna lie. Yes, we get lonely at times. But we also need to take into consideration with our kids, with our girls especially. They
Especially.
look up to us. They look up to us. And they're gonna copy what they see.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're copying you as a woman, you as a mom. Now that I'm here, I made a move. I made a move to Maryland. I have completely changed my group of friends. My group of friends. You know, you have some you lose on the way, some you gain on the way, some decide to hold on.
Right.
But let me tell you, the group of friends that I have gained now, they're all nurses, doctors, software engineers. And by seeing that, my mindset is in a whole
Oh,
different
entirely different place.
yeah. Because right now I'm like, oh geez, I need to go get my RN now. You know, I'm more in the frame of mind where I need to help someone.
Right.
Before
Right.
my dad passed, I made a vow that I would talk to my parents every single day. Every single day. And I'm happy I did. I video chat with my parents every single day. And my dad never said it to me, but my mom said it. My dad, I love him. I love him so much. And I'm so happy I got the chance to tell him. He's proud of me. And he's proud of the transition I made. Because at one point he was so worried about where I was going with the drinking. He was so worried. My parents never knew I did drugs. They never knew. And if I had an addictive personality, it would have moved on to something even greater. And I gotta say thanks to TLC. TLC found me. I didn't find TLC. TLC found me.
Walk us through how TLC found you.
Oh, every day I would walk into that factory and I walk past my upline at the time. I'll walk past him. He's like, "How was your weekend?" I'm like, he's like, "Good." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, I smell it." every Monday. And he looked at me and said, "Listen, you're better than this. You gotta do better than this. You gotta think about your daughter. Why are you here? You shouldn't be here." He kept telling me that I'm great. He's like, "Marsha, you're born for greatness. You do not deserve to be here." So, he kept texting me, telling me about a good business opportunity. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And I kept blocking it. I blocked him. I blocked him. And then one day,
Oh, my goodness.
they started cutting people. So I'm like, all right, then I think it's time for me to find something else to do now.
Yeah, you
So
was a little bit
unblocked.
open-minded at that point.
Right. So I unblocked him and I reached out to him. I'm here thinking that it's a job, but it wasn't. So he said, "Tell me what day you're free." I said, "All right, cool." And he came by the house with Mr. Luna and my now sponsor, Thomas Rosales. So when they came in, I'm like, okay, who are these guys? And as soon as Mr. Luna looked up and saw me and Thomas, they're like, she looks like Stormy. I'm like, "No, I don't. Who is Stormy?" I'm like, "What is wrong with you people?" I'm like, "Who is this Stormy? Everybody say I look like Stormy." I say, "I don't look like no Stormy."
You
So
arguing with
anyway,
him, you don't even know who Stormy is. That
right,
was
I don't know. This is in my living room now, and they break out I think I still have the book too, the first magazine that TLC had.
okay.
Break it out, and it went to the middle page, and I looked at it, and I'm like, "She look at me? Me look at her?" That's what I said to my sister. She's like, "Kinda." I'm like, "All right, then I'll take it." I don't know who she is, but I'll Google it afterwards. So we're there talking, and they're telling me about the business. And like I said in my interview, I zoned them out because I'm like, network marketing, I'm not into this.
Exactly.
I did it. It didn't work. It's not for me. I'm not even going to try it. But I was sitting there. I was 280 pounds at the time. And yeah, my back, everything was just hurting. Everything. And like I said, I work out every day, but nothing was going anywhere. And Mr. Luna gave me a bottle of Infinity oil, the Emu oil, and I put it on my knee, my thighs, my back, and I just sat there. They kept talking. I'm like, all right. I say, "You want something to drink?" Sure. I got up. I looked at my sister and she said, "What happened?" I sat down. And Mr. Luna and Thomas and Jose looked at me like, "What happened?" I got up. And Jody's like, "What happened?" She said, "You're not in pain?" I said, "No." Because usually when I get up, I'm like,
yeah.
And I wasn't like that.
Stiffness,
I
the
got up.
pain.
I'm like, what? Forget about that. I said, no. I run to the kitchen. I get that bottle of Pellegrino. And I run back and I say, all right, tell me more. Talk to me. Yeah, talk to me. Talk to me. And let me tell you something, Bobby. I said before they could even say anything, I say, you know what? I don't even care what else you guys have. I just need to get more of that oil. Because
now,
the fact that worked for me, no, I need more of that.
And here's the thing, and this is a very, very this is an amazing point. Of course, you're a transformation contest winner. Yes, you lost a tremendous amount of weight, but what actually attracted you was some oil that literally addressed the problem that you was feeling at that particular moment, and it had nothing to do with your weight. Absolutely nothing. This was addressing a problem. So this is why we have to be cognizant and open-minded, even as we present the opportunity, even as we tell people about our products, because it's not just limited to weight loss. You had some serious pain going on at the time, and a simple bottle of Infinity oil or emu oil, as it was called when it first came out, actually addressed a problem you were having. And that's what hooked you. You didn't even have a clue what else TLC was offering because you had zoned out.
Never tell you, man, I wasn't listening to nothing at all. They were talking about binary, this. I wasn't listening to nothing. So even after all of that, no, they give me tea. They give me 5 packs of tea. I said, all right. They said, okay, you're going to consume one and you're going to sell the others. I said, all right, let's see how this going to work. So I don't know about no tea. So I followed the instructions on it. I said, oh, snap. I bought this from somebody down the road and I put the 2 bags in 1 cup and I drank the whole thing. And I couldn't go to work the next day. So that green bag, I will never forget it. I bought that 1 bag from this girl down the block. She didn't even tell me nothing about it. I didn't read the instructions. I said, oh, it's tea. Fine, I'll drink it. And I was in the bathroom all day the next day. All right. So no, I'm like, okay, then it give you 1 gallon. All right. So I started doing the tea, and then by upline at the time, he brought me some instant tea packets. He gave me a whole box when it just came out. So I decided to try it. I said, you know what, to hell with selling this. I'm gonna consume everything. Let me tell you something. I lost so much weight in that 1 week. 7
How
pounds.
much did you lose? 7 pounds.
I lost 7 pounds in 5 days.
Ooh,
5 days. The first day. Let me tell you,
that's
Bobby.
What happened to me. I had lost 7 pounds in the first 5 days. That's what got me.
I went to work. They were calling me. I couldn't answer the phone. I was in that bathroom like, what the hell?
Oh my goodness. Getting all them toxins out.
The first time you drink that tea, oh my God, I never experienced anything like that in my life. And that was just the beginning. And Mark, you know, I'm working with this company. I'm not making a lot of money. So, of course, I have to watch count my pennies. So I say, okay, then. All right, I got to stay active. All right, so I'm going to buy 5 packs. I'm going to buy a box of tea next month. So I buy a box of tea next month. I consume that. I sell some. I make the money. And then with that, now I buy a bottle of NutriBurst. I say, I want to try the NutriBurst. I try the NutriBurst. I say, okay, cool. And then I do the NRG. I try the NRG. But here the trick, what I did with the NRG. I cut that sucker up. I cut it up and I sold it like a dealer. Two pills. That's how I did it.
Yeah.
2 pills. Yo, I was selling 2 pills and 1 pack of tea. I was hustling. I'm like, yo, this is $10. I got a dime bag for you. How you doing? Yeah, you feel like it, you know, here's my website, you know. And that's how I was doing in the beginning. And then when I get my tax return, that's when I went in.
Oh my goodness.
My first TLC convention was Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
And I will never forget. I was coming from 280 pounds, 250, right? And then when I went to Dallas, Texas, I was 175 pounds.
Wow.
And yes, and I met Stormy. She had the pink hair. She looked like a unicorn. I said, look at my black unicorn right there. I said, I gotta meet her. I have to meet her. And when I walked up to her, I was there. Hi, Stormy, can I take a picture with you? And I was there talking. And she's like, stop talking.
That's her.
I could have taken that so many different ways. She's like, you know what? You need to stop talking. Stop talking. She said, how old you said you were? And I told her 39. And she said, how much weight did you lose? And I told her, she said, girl, you look good. I said, oh, thank you. And she said, you know what? This is what you need to do. Let this speak for you.
Do the talking.
Let this speak for you. Let's take a picture. And I took the picture with her. And that day, I took picture with everybody. Every single person. All the ambassadors. I took picture with everybody. And I sat there. That was the first time in my life I sat in a room filled with complete strangers and I felt at home. And when I saw the transformation, I said, I gotta be on that stage. I gotta be on that stage. Every transformation story has moved to tears. I say, I'm gonna be on that stage. I'm gonna be representing me. And I did not expect what happened after that. I did not expect it. And after that is like, I went home and I went beast mode. When I say I went beast mode, I went beast mode. I cut out the carbs. Let me tell you, I just went beast mode, full beast mode. I ran. I was doing 6 miles a day, 7 days a week. I was running. I was going hard. When I stepped on that scale and I looked down and I saw 160 pounds, I screamed.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Oh my God. My sister said, what happened? What happened? I said, 160 pounds. She's like,
oh my goodness. How did that make you feel in that moment?
oh my God. Oh my God. It was the best feeling of my life. I've never been that weight in my life. Never. And the greatest thing is, some of the people that used to call me Miss Piggy, when they saw that I had Facebook, they're like, oh, Marsha, is that you? I'm like, yep, this is Piggy. And now a lot of people that saw me as a chubby girl or that fat girl in school, some of them are the ones that are reaching out to me, buying products and asking about the products. And that makes me feel good because I feel good knowing that, I feel great knowing that I'm an inspiration to a lot of people out there and them too. Because as we get older, what happened? Everything slows down. Everything slows down.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta try and catch up.
Well, I know for sure that going through that transformation, and here's the thing, we're still going through a transformation. That was just a different chapter. And what people see on the outside typically is a direct manifestation of the work that went on the inside. Because I've seen you in your element, and you walk and speak with so much confidence that it causes people to stop and listen. If you were still that broken little girl, that would not be able to happen. So I want to encourage you to continue on this journey. Nobody has forgotten Marsha Anderson. As a matter of fact, you raising your hand up and say, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here," and I expect to see even more of you now. Because this story needs to be told time and time and time again. I am on a mission to get people to tell their story, and especially those of us who have been transformation contest winners, because a lot of people don't understand the process, even how that happens. They go through hundreds, even thousands of stories to actually choose us. And so there's something about us that is different. And if that be the case, then we need to make sure that we take advantage of the difference that we have from others, because you have a message. You have a tribe that is waiting for Marsha to show up 100% completely. And I just believe that now is the season. Now is the time. I'm a firm believer in walking out your assignment. And I know that part of your assignment is actually touching a lot of these younger women that have went through similar situations, and maybe perhaps even still going through those situations that you've been through. But now you get to speak on the other side of through. And that is so important. Your posture, the way that you speak, the way that you stand is like it's regal. You are a queen, period. Stand in your uniqueness, understand and know your difference from others, and wear that joker out. I mean, ride it till the wheels come off. Because I'm telling you, we have the amazing vehicle called Total Life Changes. And there's a place for everybody. We don't need a repeat and a duplicate of nobody. And I'm telling you, you are unique and so appreciated and loved and valued. And I just expect I put it to you this way. I expect to see you on the stage fairly soon as a ring earner, because you done helped solve so many problems. Because the more problems we solve, the more money we make.
Yes.
And I am so proud of you. I appreciate you coming on the podcast to share your story. If there's anything you would like to leave the audience as far as some wisdom, what would you like to share?
So what I'd like to share is this. It doesn't matter where you're going through, where you are in life. It doesn't matter what you're going through. Understand this. God not sleep. And if you decide to try and join this movement that we have called Total Life Changes, you're never alone. Never, ever, ever, ever alone. Never. Because you're what? God not sleep, and this is a blessed company. This company is here to change the world. And every single person that you see come on the lives and speak about their situation, their transformation, their stories, they are here for you.
Marsha, thank you so much for gracing this podcast. It has definitely been a blessing. This won't be the last time you be on here, by the way. I'm just letting you know up front now. Because it's the podcast is growing. There's more work to do, and I just know without a shadow of a doubt you're definitely an impact player, and you are a big. I'm trying to behave. You are a big deal. Know that.
Since you said that every morning, I've been looking in the mirror telling myself that. I look in the mirror and tell myself that. I'm like, all right, Marsha, you're a big deal.
You are. You are. And anybody watching this, as a matter of fact, anybody watching this, please understand you are a big deal. You matter. Your story matters. And if you're not standing on the other side of through right now, please understand, keep going through your process, because what's going to make you, what's going to perfect you, what is going to bless you is the process. It's the valley experience. And once you go through that valley experience and you get to your mountaintop and you're standing on the other side of through, trust and believe your story will be one to be able to bless somebody else and encourage somebody else to get through their storm. My time is up. I thank you for yours. Of course, next week, stay tuned for another powerful interview here on the Victim No More podcast. My name is Bobby Patterson, aka Bobby P. And once again, thank you so much, Marsha, for coming on the podcast. You all be blessed. And as I end every podcast now, I want you to know that I love each and every one of you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Be blessed. Hold on, Marsha.